How would you evaluate the role of the Belt and Road Initiative in promoting China-UAE ties?
Well, I see. Firstly, the initiative itself builds on diplomatic relations between the two countries since about 1984. What it's going to do is it's going to deepen investment and trade ties between two nations at a time when the Gulf is actually looking to Asia a lot more than it has. The United Arab Emirates itself has a lot of Chinese investments since 2017. It's also a U.S. ally, and I mention this because I do feel that right now the UAE could serve as a very positive model for deepening ties with Asia and with China as well.
Well, what exactly can the countries explore in order to achieve a new type of China-Arab relations that go beyond energy, featuring finance, investment, and innovation?
There's certainly several features. In fact, one of my contacts has informed me that some of the Arab states, including the UAE, are now going to have Mandarin as a taught language, which tells me that the education sector is one area where there'll be further expansion. There's also, in the near future, space exploration. So China has its own space program and wants a lunar base set up by 2030. And the UAE also has its own space program and is very interested, I think, in partnering with China for that. Another aspect is going to be security. So we see that the UAE is very happy to invest within Asia. There's mutual investments, and the next step, of course, is to protect those investments. So I do feel at a time when the Gulf Cooperation Council is becoming a bit fragmented, we may see a deepening of relations for an Asian security group akin to the Shanghai Security Cooperation.
Well, does the United Arab Emirates have what it takes to become a gateway for Chinese businesses to enter the vast Arab market?
It is very well positioned for those goals. Firstly, the UAE itself has diversified its portfolio. It is established as a hub of trade, banking, and tourism. It also has a lot of ports, so it's established as a transit hub for ports. It has 12 commercial ports and several oil ports. On top of that, it also has almost 100 billion barrels of oil reserves, which a lot of people forget because Dubai especially is known for having diversified further. So it's very clear that the UAE is expanding its trade into Asia and is quite a good hub for China and others to enter the Arab market or the Gulf market.
And finally, what's your take on the phenomenon that more and more Middle East countries are so keen to strengthen ties with China?
It's a very interesting trend, isn't it? Firstly, I'd say that it's mutual. China is a growing economy and it needs more oil, and the GCC or the Gulf is a proximate source. At the same time, I have to say that right now, the Gulf in certain states, they're going beyond the United States now. At a time when people like Trump are causing tension in the region, I do believe that members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, they want to look to other actors who they can do business with. China itself, for example, does not have a legacy of political intervention in the Middle East that the U.S. does have. So, for example, Iraq and also now Iran. And I also believe that for Arab states and China, one thing that they seem to agree on is a mutual respect for sovereignty and non-interference in each other's affairs.